I was told last year. So they're actually helping a lot. The national administrations have to become aware of this as well. And some of them, I know for the German administration that they try to help a lot, and it's working quite good. And but furthermore, even now, if you think that, or if you imagine that everybody would know about this regulatory time frame, there still is a problem, or there was a problem at least. So secondly, we did a deeper analysis of the small satellite developers' difficulties in frequency coordination. And like I said, first, the lack of knowledge was the first main thing. And the second thing is the late knowledge of orbit parameters. Attila already mentioned that the late knowledge of orbit parameters is no problem at all, and that's one thing that has to be demystified. But I actually had the problem. I had the late knowledge. I didn't have my orbit parameters, and I didn't file my system. And for me, it wasn't clear that I could file the system at a very early stage already. But I just didn't know that because I myself couldn't read that out of the radio regulations, which are not always very clear for somebody who has no knowledge or very few knowledge of the radio regulations. But that was one thing that we realized, and that's one of the main results, in my opinion. I here put in the slide a typical mission design timeline for a small satellite. So you always have, so this is very, I took off, this is only the very basic mission design timeline. You have a kickoff, you have a preliminary design review, critical design review, and a launch, and normally the launch contract is signed somewhere around the critical design review. And so that's normally when we started the ITU filing process. So that's when we sent in or initiated the API. And so that resulted that normally we had the notification only after the launch. And now if we, like the ITU told us already in an earlier presentation by Attila, if we can just hand in the API at a much earlier point, in an optimized mission design timeline, we could start normally, I would say we could start at the PDR level. This would make it possible for us to send in to receive notification even before launch. And that is something very special for a small satellite system, because only few small satellite systems are actually not notified before they are launched. And so like I said, early API without exact knowledge of orbital parameters is possible. In that case, if you don't have the exact parameters in the beginning, you just give the best estimate, and that is enough for the ITU, like they said earlier, to start the coordination process. So in conclusion, we can't give a real definition of picosatellites and nanosatellites to be used in regulatory procedures. We think that the IT radio regulations should remain untouched. We need to disseminate the knowledge among small satellite developers, and we try to further promote that. And yeah, we found out that current regulatory procedures are applicable for small satellite developers if all steps are undertaken on time and in due form. What I want to add is that this does not take into account the growth in the amount of small satellites that was just last year. Thanks to Planet Labs, for example, we have 100 more satellites just by them in 1 year, and also a lot of other systems, so we don't know what will happen in a few years, of course. But this is the results of the studies that we did in between 2012 and now 2015. And I think that was the last slide. So thank you for your attention, and we're very open for any questions.
Thanks a lot for these presentations. I'll give the floor in a few minutes to Joaquin, just to say a few words about the poster sessions and whatever message is quite important for the social program there. But I feel happy at the end of the day because it seems to me that discussing with a small sat community at some stage or through administrations, there was issue with ITU or with the ITU secretariat. There was issue with the procedures. Too complex, doesn't work, doesn't respond to our need. And what I saw there is that there are a group of experts that came together and said, well, everything is good in a better word, and that no more criticism about the ITU regime, no more problem. And whenever I saw this type of approach, sometimes it was great also just to say there were some questions, and the response to those questions said, well, we don't have any response, everything is okay. So many times when I saw that at first time like that. I'm just wondering, well, I was sure that was the right question that were asked at that time, but well, I don't want to have, as the IT secretariat, I don't want to have any particular views about the expert that prepared this work. But I think that at some stage there might be things, little things to be improved. And in that perspective, I think that, as it has been said, all of this work through the study group activity is I would say triggered by paper, is triggered by proposal. So it's true that if you have any problem, any issue regarding the existence of these I2 regulations, please do proposal, discuss between yourself, go through those groups in order to ensure that at the end of the day, if some little things can be done to improve the procedures, this will be done. And as I mentioned to you, that was the right time. So it has been quite a long day. There are things to be done also a little later on. So I'd like just to give to Joaquin the floor now, just to say a few words about the poster sessions. And as it has been mentioned also during some of the presentation, there would be a certain number of a lot of information, in fact, that you will find in these poster sessions. Please, Joaquin. And then before leaving and going to this poster session, I would like one more time to thank Tian, Roger, Piero, Ole, Wouters, and Martin for all of this presentation of the last part of the day, and to give a round of applause to all the presentation of today. Thank you a lot.
Okay, thank you. Now go to social announcement. As you most know, now we have a posters session. There are something like a dozen of very interesting posters related to different projects. So first, we'd like to invite you to read the posters, and also like to invite the authors to be beside of respective poster to answer questions of people interested on that. So.
Two technical additional questions. If there are delegates from Argentina, if they can raise the hands, because the Argentinian mission is looking after them. That's why if you can contact the organizers. The other is, please don't forget, we have 1 hour from now, the bus departure, and in jeans, or you go as you want, but it's a route, that's why ties are not welcome. Okay? That's why do what you want. We guarantee, not we, sorry, organizers guarantee after the route, whatever shape, that you will be returned back to your hotel by the buses. That's why don't be scared. There will be the buses going to the Hotel Diplomat, Hotel International, etc. Just tell to the drivers. And you see, Ivan is very nice with me, because tomorrow I'm sharing the session. That's why he's telling me yes. 9 o'clock, you know me, we will start sharp. 9 o'clock. And because a lot of presentation, tomorrow we are packed 15 minutes. That's why I am joking, but I will tomorrow not accept such a 15, 20, 30 minutes presentation. It will be 50 minutes sharp. Please behave 15 minutes. Thank you.
Good. Good. Wow. You did a good job.